Because the original file is over an hour long, I decided to split this into two parts. I hope I did it somewhat justice. You guys can kind of guess what the next Drivecast coming out will be about, considering this is a two-parter. And as you can kind of tell, I try to tinker with the audio to make it sound better. Hopefully it looks good. Just enjoy the show. Alright, that sounds cheesy, but then again, my nickname is Cheesebait, so let's get this thing started. Hello everybody, welcome to the Chessbait Drivecast, the one-stop shop for kind of controversial topics and kind of controversial opinions. I keep forgetting to upload seasons 2 and 3 onto Spotify. Shut up. Today we have a guest because I want to talk DuckTales and I can't find anyone else to talk about it with. You want to quickly introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm friends with Chessbait over here. He introduced me to DuckTales, and it's really, really fucking good. I just gotta say that.
TLDR, I told him to watch it, and now he's addicted.
Well, I'm a former addict because I finished it, and now I'm suffering from withdrawals.
Yeah, let's just get straight onto it, considering how wild of a season DuckTales season. I mean, to be honest, I remember I reviewed DuckTales a long time ago, like probably 2 years ago, but I don't remember what the hell I talked about. I don't know if I talked about season 2. All I know is I said, hey, DuckTales is pretty cool because it takes what we already know from the 90s show and kind of improves it by a lot.
Yeah, I haven't seen, I'm not quite sure if you have previous knowledge, if you've seen the entire series from the 80s and the 90s. I haven't. I'm aware of it. I know it's something that's very culturally pervasive, but
yeah, there's a certain YouTube channel that used to do a lot of DuckTales content, and I kind of just heard from him all the information about anything DuckTales related, and by proxy, what is it? Darkwing Duck, Gizmo Duck. What else is there? Los Tres Amigos.
Even Caballeros.
Oh, sorry, what did I say?
Los Tres Amigos.
To be fair, that is technically accurate.
That is definitely correct.
Me no hablo español. That's all I'm saying. Fucking Chip and Dale to a certain extent because they made a reference to that. Even fucking Goofy.
Was that was it a reference in DuckTales to Goof Troop or something like that, or was it a Goofy movie?
I think because Goof Troop I believe it was a sequel.
Oh yeah.
Goofy movies.
Yeah, no, I think the Goofy movie was the finale or an extension of the Goof Troop universe. Because I saw in the Quack Pack episode that when Goofy hung out his wallet, that it had the picture that was snapped on the roller coaster montage when Max is choosing all the places to stop on their road trip, which is the excellent reference, by the way.
The insane thing is because that implies that this 2017 through 19 or 20 DuckTales is the definitive sequel to the not the Quack Pack, to the Goof Troop, and to the Goofy movies.
I was thinking this the entire time, but this is Into the Spider-Verse before they did it.
No,
or it might have been after. I don't really know.
Home, but earlier.
Yeah.
We bring in imagine if they did a crossover with themselves with the old series. That would be funny.
Oh my god. I just like how, what is it, that one episode, was it the Quack Pack, where they got sucked into the 90s DuckTales, and then I think it was, Louie that said, why was my head so round? Oh my god. Wait, perfection.
Did they do that?
Yeah, I think it was a scene in that episode where I think something happened with, Donald Wish or something like that, but no, because they got... they got sucked. Yeah, I think Scrooge is saying some monsters stole his ice cream or something in it. I'm not sure if that's a direct scene from the 90s versions of DuckTales, but Huey, Louie, and Dewey get sucked into that with Scrooge, and then they come out, and he's like, "Why wasn't my head so round?" Because they look different, but Scrooge looks mostly the same.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that Scrooge is voiced by the Doctor. Doctor Who, or the Doctor, I should probably say.
There's like a lot of them. What do you like? Which one?
I don't. Tennant, David Tennant.
What? Really?
Yes.
Are you serious? Am I just?
I mean, he's got the accent, and he did it surprisingly well.
Are you? No, you're lying to me.
No,
what? No, you're right. What?
When I looked it up, I saw. Wait, I know this guy from somewhere. Oh wait, he was in Doctor Who.
I used to in middle school. I used to be Whovian. I didn't fucking recognize that, but yet I could recognize like Moynihan from We Bare Bears. Like,
yeah,
that's like, cringe. Jesus Christ.
Like level 1 is realizing that Ben Schwartz is in there, because Ben Schwartz, his voice is the same for everything he does. I'm starting to realize that.
Yeah, he's like one of those actors with like a distinctive voice, kind of like Oh my god.
Who?
Is it the guy that plays Wander and is it Wander Over Yonder?
Jack Brazee?
Yeah, where he's just got that, where he's just one of those actors with like a very distinct voice, but like that's their role.
The thing is, I find it funny that the two things that I know that guy for, well actually the three things I know that guy for is Wander Over Yonder, Wreck-It Ralph, because Felix.
Oh yeah, Fix It Felix.
And the third thing is the fucking Adult Swim show.
Oh, the Jack and Triumph show, yeah.
The Jack and Triumph.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
I was so confused by that show, like just because
I just try to enjoy it as much as I could. Like, it was fucking wild, and like, I don't know. Maybe I think I liked a lot of the Jack, not so much of the Triumph.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think the entire show is like built off the dichotomy of the way that Jack McBrayer is like typecast in the media that he's in, with
like the really timid yeah, who's kind of a pushover and gets shoved into situations he doesn't want to be in.
Yeah, which is like a complete stark contrast from like the assertive foul mouth of Triumph. But we're not meant to talk about that.
Yeah, we're to talk DuckTales.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, in my defense, whenever I do these podcasts as well, like podcasts are all about tangents and where those tangents can take you.
Yeah, always constantly meandering. That's how it really is.
Wasn't season 3 the season where Gizmo Duck he gets a girlfriend?
Well, because that was her name is what, like Gail, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure, because I would have to like look at the episode list, because I know that they introduced her. I feel like they introduced her maybe at the end of like season 2, but they revisited her.
Yeah, because they introduced her in season 2 as a villain for.
Or it was more of an anti-hero because.
No. Because they introduced her along with what's her face. Zuckerduck. I forget his name.
Mark Beeks?
Mark Beeks, yes, thank you.
Well, they didn't introduce them like alongside each other. I think it was just like there was like some situation where she was working for Mark Beeks, because I think she was trying to steal like the Gizmo Duck suit.
Yeah, and like after they fall in love, blah yada yada yada. But then she also falls into what's it called, Foul.
Foul, yeah.
Which I like how like they just casually I like how they casually after they have this whole thing about the metaverse. Let's be real here. That's what it is. They just they just casually steal secretive information from Fowl, or at least try to.
Right. Well, no, because she gets captured.
The vulture. What's the vulture's name?
It starts with a B. I know it does.
Benedict. I don't know. Bernard.
I can remember the name of fucking Isabella Finch, but I can't remember the name of her goddamn grandson. Bradford. Oh, yeah.
So, the scene where Bradford shows, I don't remember if it was the triplets or if it was Scrooge, just all of the people or all the ducks and creatures that they met throughout every single season so far.
Yeah, that's like the last. I think it's like the first or maybe the second part of like the finale where they all get locked up and then they seize every single person that they've met.
Dude, that fucking gave me chills. It scared me. I didn't realize, like, oh, this guy has like every single DuckTales character in the palm of his hand, just super casually.
Yeah, no, that was like, I thought that was like a really interesting way. Like, I wasn't expecting it to go in like the direction that it was going in as far as like the motive goes. That was gonna be like a bit more, I thought it was gonna be like a bit more conceptual as far as like some grand overarching theme, but no, it was literally just like tying back to Scrooge McDuck.
Adventure bad.
True. I mean, honestly, I kind of like the execution of his character, and like the dialogue from the finale is fucking amazing.
Yeah, like I was thinking, because they didn't set him up as much. Like they kind of did the equivalent of Thanos, you know, like they sprayed him here and there, showing that, oh, this guy exists and he's gonna do something eventually. But you know, they didn't show the how or the why until season 3. I can appreciate that they didn't try to give him too much time until they were able to, because you know, Disney execs cutting off TV shows after season 2.
I honestly, yeah, like with the amount of time that they had to work with to like kind of bring closure to everything, I was like pretty impressed with how they were able to pack everything up in a relatively neat bow.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Like, we didn't really care about the whole reveal with. Oh my gosh, I really can't.
Like the Webby reveal, or
like the Webby reveal is nice, and it kind of ties.
Like I think it makes sense, but
yeah,
also like
it ties back together with why what did I say, Vanderquack? Agent 22. What's her freaking name?
Yeah, no, it is. Oh, isn't it like Fantima or something like that's like her actual name?
Something
But
like that.
but I know
it goes into why she was not the initial butler, and why she kind of came in halfway through. Why everything behind Webby is just under like such a giant veil, and is such a big mystery that was never solved for the longest time.
right. Which, you know, I think it's kind of interesting because the way that they like position the writing around Webby's character is that's something that you never consider.
Oh yeah,
you know, because... like despite the fact that the themes are there and like, you know, have a prominent center stage with Della and the relationship between Huey, Louie, Dewey, Donald, and Scrooge around like the missing person. I think it's kind of interesting that the way that they were sort of able to integrate Webby, and sort of make us not ask those questions.
Because like, the entire overarching story is about family. It's about, oh, I almost said it's about Drive. I fucking hate myself. I mean, we are on the Drivecast. It is about Drive, but the whole story is about family and how people are connected with one another. And you know, for the longest time, they just considered Webby a family friend. You know, the first season they focused on Della. On the second season, they also focused on Della. Whoops. No, on the first season, they focused on... Actually, I would say the second season, they more focused on Donald.
Yeah, I think I would say that too. Yeah, because like the way that they were focusing on Donald, I feel like they, a lot of the, you know, episodes towards like the tail end with everything, I think it was more on like... I don't necessarily think that it was like, you know, there was a few storylines with Donald in them, but I think that a lot of the way that they wrote like the episodes was really centered around like Donald's relationship with Huey, Louie, like Dewey, and Della.
Yeah.
And I just really like that because I know like I was looking it up, like just reading like the lore of everything, and I know that one of the things that they planned to do was to make like Donald more three-dimensional of a character, because I think he was just like basically a side character in the original DuckTales. I mean, I don't know, but yeah. I really like that a lot.
The fact that in the first episode, they talk about Donald as if he was some great adventurer, and you know, this was a part of his life that he kind of just left behind him because it was fun, but it got out of hand. It got too dangerous, and people maybe didn't get hurt, but Della was lost for for a couple decades. Not a couple decades, probably just 1 decade.
No, I think it was like probably like 12 years. Yeah, over a decade. I don't know, because I was talking to you when I first saw like the end of that episode. Was it season? Like, was it the the episode before the season finale of season 1, where it kind of shows like Scrooge's entire family getting mad at him, but then there's like the genius montage of him progressively emptying the bin and sinking into an even deeper depression because he just never finds Della. Like, oh my dude, that is so good.
I'd argue that the Spear Celine is the best episode of the whole series because
that is
because that's the episode that showed like Scrooge lost his family, he lost like a big majority of his money, and that's the scene where he proclaims like I am. Because he's like, happy with more shutting away family.
Yeah, like that's where he becomes Scrooge McDuck as like mythologized by the lore of DuckTales before this, like before they meet him.
Exactly.
Like it's just an excellent tie back to like his initial character with the start of the series.
Oh yeah.
What were you gonna say after this? I know you cut me off, but I cut you off, and
yeah. To be honest, I kind of don't remember. I kind of remember saying, what was it season 1, season 2? Season 1 was about Della. Season 2 was about Donald. What was after that? I don't know. I had something else I wanted to say, anyways.
I mean,
in terms of making Donald Duck a more well-rounded character, Donald was usually just used as the big grumpy guy who just never has a good day, and yes, that is still emblematic of him, especially with the luck episode that they showed.
Oh yeah, whereas a cousin Gladstone, like literally, like lucky as hell. But I think that's kind of like interesting because, like, they still give Donald a break in the series, and Donald is still like he's unlucky, but that's like more out of like fate than really just like him like not trying or anything. Like the dude falls and gets back up, and that's like one of the themes that they always talk about him.
Yeah. And I think it was season 2 when they showed the Dewey and Webby trying to do a mystery, but finding out that Donald's actually just going to anger management to take care of his.
Oh my god, yeah.
And like that on top of introducing Daisy into the mix. I didn't think they'd be able to make Donald and Daisy a freaking power couple, but they did that.
Dude, I fucking loved that.
Like the fact that Daisy, let's just say she's completely different from the majority of representation. So the majority of times that she's been represented in any screen, she's somehow perfect for Donald.
Yeah, I mean, I can't exactly like vouch for that because I'd imagine that it's true because I just don't know enough about like the Disney canon and how they represent other characters. But
like if you look at the Disney shorts that they did, not too many years before they made DuckTales, every time they show Daisy and Donald, it's always about them bickering. It's always about them being upset with each other. Like they looked at they look like the type of couple to be on the verge of divorce.
Gee, damn, that kind of sucks. Wow.
Yeah, but it's a kids cartoon. You don't actually think about that.
Right.
But in DuckTales, they're close enough to the point where they're willing to go on their own adventure because Della's finally reunited with the triplets. Donald feels safe enough with Daisy to get married, get their start on their own journey.
Yeah, I like how Storkules like implies that, by the way.
Wait, what?
Like in the episode, like with the date on the houseboat, that like where I think they summon like a titan from the underworld, and it's like it's like the God Shroud episode, I think.
Yeah.
Everybody is just they're all unintentionally fucking up Donald's date with Daisy, and I just really like how they like kind of tie it back with how Daisy just like accepts Donald for who he is.
Yeah, because even though she was angry at Storkily messing everything up, like, she realizes that the reason she went on this date wasn't because Donald is this glamorous, fashionable. I mean, he's somewhat fashionable. They're not this glamorous, spectacular bachelorette, not bachelorette, bachelor. Sorry, but
Right.
instead of he's very down to earth, very very caring, extremely hard worker, who's just always willing to give everything up.
They're like opposites attract. Like when you think about that, because Daisy was on the it list, Donald wasn't.
And didn't Donald make the it list?
No. Well, no, because I don't think so. Because I remember he was singing, and like remember like at the end.
Yeah, the three caballeros were gonna be on it, and then she took him out because of his singing.
Ruthless, but I accept it. And then she puts Daisy's dress on the list. So
yeah,
but I also like how in the episode, like when he's singing in the elevator, how they're transitioning from like Donald's dog shit voice to like like this Frank Sinatra type beat, and then you see Daisy's like become completely entranced. Like,
I love how many times they joke with that, because I think in the season 1 finale when I almost said Cruella. There's a Shadow Queen. What's her name?
Magico Dispel?
Yes, Magico. When Magico was, having the Shadow Army, Donald has something lodged down his throat, and instead of Beakley, it's Donald who takes on the leadership role. Like, this new voice gives him, like, the newfound confidence he needs.
Oh, yeah. No, I also love that they frame it as, like, a puberty thing, too.
Yeah.
Because you can understand Donald in, like, the one flashback episode where he and Della are adventuring with Scrooge. I think they were getting, like, the papyrus. But, you can understand him, like, completely.
Which is kind of inconsistent, because in the Christmas episode, he was still, like, kind of gravelly.
Well, that was obviously at a different point in the timeline. Hello? No, I'm kidding.
No, but my point...
Oh, no, yeah, I know what you're saying, though.
Oh, I just scared myself because I locked the door.
With season 3, because, the end of season 2, when they find... Or was it the beginning of season 1 where they... No, of season 3, where they find her notebook with all the missing artifacts in there. Like, I was, like, mentally crossing them off, as they found them, because they name-dropped a lot of them.
Yeah, it was like the second or third episode. I'm pretty sure it was like the Woodchuck. Wasn't it the Woodchuck episode where they find out that the secret treasure all along was actually the initial...
It was like her original adventuring notebook, yeah.
Also, it is a nice touch. It is a nice touch that only Huey is a woodchuck.
Yeah, but in the original, weren't they like all woodchucks, but like Huey was the most devoted?
Yeah. And
well,
the reason only Huey had to be a woodchuck. I mean, I guess Dewey kind of could have been, but it's because Huey's he's the intellectual. He's the one that always reads the book. If any situation arises, he's able to calculate whatever outcome he wants.
Is that like one of the things that I loved the most, of course, it was just like the dynamic between the triplets and their respective personalities and how they mesh and don't mesh. Like, I thought that was unbelievably masterful as like a twin myself.
Like, and not only that, but they kind of mastered the oldest, middle, and youngest sibling dynamic just by changing them up a little. Because Huey's the oldest. As the oldest, they're supposed to feel the most responsible.
Yeah, so he's the leader.
He's a leader. He's he's a control freak. There's the word.
Right. Like Dewey's the middle child, so he's expressive and bombastic and
he always wants to be
impulsive. Yeah, because he wants that attention. Middle child syndrome,
which kind of pairs perfectly with Webby as well, considering Webby was an only child for the longest time, which means they also wanted a lot of attention. Well, they got a lot of attention, but they want more attention, which kind of makes the whole Dewey-Webby thing oddly perfect.
Well, it's also like that, and you know, just the way that they framed Dewey's relationship, like with Della in the first season.
Yeah.
Like I don't because you know, it's not that the other ones don't care, but it's like that's obviously like something that Dewey specifically cares about. You know, at least a bit more than Huey and Louie.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I just thought it was like interesting because the dynamic was that like they'd sort of indulge each other. Because, you know, Webby loves to find out more about Scrooge's family and to adventure herself. And, you know, Dewey just likes to do things to make him feel seen.
Yeah, he just likes the adventure. The sense of adventure, I should say. And then there's Louis, obviously, the youngest, the most laid back.
Right,
Also,
yeah, which I would probably say is like a pretty true.
I also love that he just accepts the fact that he's the evil triplet.
Well, it's not even like he's like the evil triplet. It's just like the fact that I think that his like moral compass is the most gray out of all of them.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's the one thing that he has to learn, especially with the episodes where he's paired with Scrooge. He has to learn, you know, the whole phrase that Scrooge always learns is, what is it? He's tougher than the toughies, which is probably Dewey's character arc. Smarter than the smarties, which I mean that kind of a given is Huey's arc.
But then sharper than the Sharpies.
That's that. Sharper than the Sharpies and earning it square. Those are the two things that Louis has to learn himself.
Right. Well, which I really like the way they did that, because I think it would have been, you know, pretty boring just to like blatantly write Louis as like, you know, just an inherently sharp person, because you know, like I feel like intelligence is something that sort of is more of an objective skill versus, you know, the way that sharpness is basically an allegory for wisdom, which is gained through age.
Because he has the confidence. He just doesn't have as nearly as much wit as Scrooge does to get him through certain situations.
Right. Yeah, which I also like really like the dynamic between them two, because, you know, Scrooge would help him even though he's like completely fucking up, except for that one time where he gets grounded by Della because of his money-making scheme gone wrong.
I still find it funny that Louis was the richest man in the world for like a day.
Yeah, I know, the richest duck in the. I love that. Like, as soon as like I saw like a Louis like steal the money from Ma Beagle and Flintheart Glomgold and I think Doofus Drake too.
Mark Beeks
like,
as well.
Was it Mark Beeks? I thought Mark Beeks didn't have his money stolen.
Was it? No, probably not. I might be confusing it with the Magica, because Magica was part of the group.
Yeah, no, I think they were part of like the I think that was like part of like the court scene, which I did like, by the way. Like I thought the writing of that was just fucking amazing. But, you know, I digress. Like, you know, as soon as you realize that the most money, it's like he's not gonna give it back, is he? Which is so Louis, dude.
Which is kind of necessary for one of the episodes in the next season, because oh no, he's the richest guy, and the burden of being the richest guy in the world, that is a thing that exists apparently.
Oh yeah, I forgot the curse.